And we are on the air. Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second annual New Mexico Delt Virtual Conference. I'm so glad that you're here. This is our second to the last session today, and we are going to be presenting Google Sites for Sharing Administrative Information. The presenter today will be Tina Height. My name is Kristen Waring, and I will be moderating the webinar. Before we begin, please make sure that you type your name and your program into the chat box on the right. This will verify your attendance for us. And if you are not watching this live, you can disregard that message. We will be holding questions or a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. And so if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box. If I can answer them, I will. And if not, we'll save them for Tina at the end. So I think at this time now, I will go ahead and turn the mic over to Tina.
Thanks, Kristen. And actually, I'm going to ask you that if there are questions during the presentation about creating slides, I'm hoping this will be interactive so that you can build your, not slides, but your site right along with me. And so we can get this, at least a shell for a site, done in 30 minutes. So if something comes up and somebody needs assistance, Kristen, please feel free to interrupt me.
I will do that.
So we're doing this by a poll everywhere, and I'm going to come back to this poll after we do some other stuff. But there are two ways to participate. You can, in your browser, go to pollev.com/Tina Height, or you can use your cell phone and in the text area, type in Tina Height with no spaces and send that to 37607. Go ahead and send it, and then you can send your text message. But what I would like to know is what kind of information do you want to share with your faculty and staff? Because that's what you want in this website. So I'll give you some time to do that. We'll come back to the poll and see how that is going. You could also enter that information into the chat box if you're having trouble with poll everywhere. That's not a problem. All right. Well, next slide. There we go. So your recipe for success, the ingredients that you need. Because it's a Google site that we're going to be building, you can use just a regular Gmail site. Now, keep in mind, if you use the standard public Gmail account, there are limitations on your sharing abilities. So if you want to keep it very limited to who you're sharing it with, you'd be better off with a G Suite account. So NMDelt does provide that for you. You can request an NMDelt account at our website, which is, of course, nmdelt.org. And you need some documents that you're going to share, and you need to have those ready in Google Drive. So I've set up some sample documents that we're going to put in there today. You do need to determine who are you going to share this with. Do you want it to be very private and only your faculty and staff can view it, or only maybe particular members of your faculty and staff can view it? Or do you want it open to the public? Do you want it only open to people who have NMDelt accounts, because those are all NM New Mexico adult education people? It's completely up to you. And then you do need a little bit of time. So the first time I did this, it took me about 2 hours. And I was brand new to the new Google Sites, but I found it pretty easy to navigate. And I had a lot of stuff that I put in there. But then once it's in there, updating is pretty easy. So those are your ingredients. And do we have any? The number of students in the program, great. That's always good information to have on your website that you want to share openly. So some of the other things, oh, special announcements, that's great too. Um, some of the other things that we have as far as data is concerned, Elizabeth went over that in the previous session on the data dashboard. So what are the enrollments? How does that compare at different sites? What's the comparison this year compared to last year? So all of that data is very good information. We also keep meeting minutes on our website. We keep our policies and procedures there. Documents that Francis and Amy may ask, and Saya, at a site visit are easily accessible on our website. So we want to keep that very visible. Also want teachers to be able to access that. Some of the other things we keep on ours include flyers for publicity and awareness, so that outreach information is also on our website. Syllabi, that's wonderful, so that instructors can share syllabi and they can share lessons. There are a lot of things that you can put on your website. So let me see. We're going to go to the next slide. We're going to get started. Oh, and guess what? I forgot to insert an image of a Google site in a clean account. So I'll take you there. So we're going to go to sites.google.com. So this is my NMDELT one. So you notice I've got some sites that were made in the old template. But if we go to my personal account, it shows me no existing sites found, and I go to new sites, and it asks me to start my first new site. Okay, so I'm going to exit that and show you what mine looks like right now. The old sites you can click create, and they tended to be a little bit more cumbersome. So if you want something really complicated, you can do that. But I've learned you can do an awful lot with new sites. So we're going to go there. So I welcome you at this point to open your own browser window to follow along. I feel privileged. I have dual monitors, so it's really great. I can do two things at a time, one thing on one screen and one thing on another. Or if you have a larger monitor, you can split the two windows in half and work that way. So if you are following along and building your site, then stop us if you have any questions, and Kristen will interrupt me. So we're going to start a new site from scratch. So it just loads a default banner, a default title page. And we are going to call this My Program. We won't be so possessive. We'll call it Our Program. Notice that you can change the header type. If you don't want a picture there, you just want it to be plain text, you can do that. You can have the small banner, you can have a larger banner, completely up to you. You can also have a different image in there. I use Upload to upload our program logo and our UNM logo so that it's identifiable as belonging to our program. Or if you don't care, you can, let's use this one. It says stock market, but it's got charts and graphs. So now we know that it is about data. So I am going to name it Our Program. And notice that I changed it here. It also changed it at the top for the site document. If I would have done it the other way around, it would have changed it there. It does have a way to add a logo. So if you've got one handy, you can upload your logo there. We're not going to publish or anything yet. We're going to get some things ready. So because we started with the data dashboard, that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to create a text box. Notice over here on the right, we have all kinds of things that we can put on our page. So we'll start with the text box. And I'm just going to type in data dashboard. And I want that to be a heading. Maybe I want it to be a title, a little bigger. There we go. And I want it centered on the page. Okay, great. Great. So now, how do we get all of those lovely charts that Elizabeth created over here to our website? Well, down at the very bottom of the insert menu is charts. So if I click on charts, hopefully, it comes up with a lot of spreadsheets that I've been in lately. So you notice it's time period. There's lots of timesheets here. But the one that I want is this dashboard. And when I click insert, it's not going to insert that page. It's going to give me the menu. What do you want? Well, on our website, I really like the gauges. So I'm going to put that one first, right? That shows us all of our 40-hour students up to this time. Okay. Now, cropping. Elizabeth said something about cropping, and I went, oh, I'm not sure I know how to do that, but I can adjust the size. So I've shrunk that down so I can fit another chart on here. So we've got that. What else do we like? We're going to insert average hours and median hours. This one's pretty fancy. Okay, so notice because it couldn't fit there, it came down here. So I'm going to move it and it shrinks, right? But it doesn't seem to be quite the same size, and I like things to be uniform, so just snap that. If you notice the grid lines that come up when you insert something, so let's do one more chart. This one's kind of interesting. So when I go to adjust the size, these grid lines come up. So it is going to snap to the closest grid line, right? So you can't space it in between grid lines. It does help keep everything just a little bit more uniform. Notice I had to tweak that one. My OCD is showing today. Okay, and then I can put in a divider. And let's put in another text box that has announcements. And I'm just going to say NM Delt virtual conference. So that way anyone who looks at our website would see the announcement. And I probably will make it a heading, just to, oh, it's a little big. Maybe we'll do a subheading, but we can highlight it. And now where did that go? Well, we could go back to normal text and we can make it bold. How's that? We have other options. Can add a link, a hyperlink in there. Bullets if you were writing something a little bit longer. Whatever you decide to do with your text box. You have a lot of things you can do there. Okay. Oh dear, Kristen, I did not write down what we wanted to put in here. We wanted data. So let me go to our pages, and I don't think there wasn't anything. Do you have?
I think we wanted syllabi and policies and procedures.
Okay, syllabi would be a good one. So let's make a page. So we clicked on pages over here on the right, and now we're going to add a page, and we're going to call it syllabi. Oops, syllabi. Okay. Then we're going back to insert. Now, the problem is I don't have any syllabi to insert. Um, so we could go to documents. I have some documents that I was putting in here. Nothing that looks like syllabi. So I'm going to use one of these meeting minutes that I did, and I'm just going to insert that. So you can do it that way, and then each syllabi shows up as a full document. And this little arrow here means that it'll open in a new tab, right? So they can get a preview of it, and then they can open it in a new tab and see the whole thing. Or you can go to Drive if you've got a Google Drive folder that has all of your syllabi in there. Let me see. I'm just going to put this whole folder in there. So these are kind of our public documents for our program. So I've just put that whole folder in there. And notice it does just look like a bunch of folders. So you could have a folder for each class, or you could have just one folder that says syllabi, and people could search that. However you decide to do that with your syllabi. Let's do, let me see, meeting minutes. So I'm on another page for meeting minutes. I don't know about your program, but we meet weekly. And I like to keep the meeting minutes here. They're easily accessible. We keep minutes during the meeting. Excuse me. And we do it live. So sometimes, oh, excuse me, a staff member or a faculty member who's not on campus but wants to participate somewhat in the meeting, we have brought them in on Google Hangouts. But the other thing they do is they just access the document during the meeting. And when they do that, they can write comments, not hopefully on the main meeting minutes themselves, but there's a chat feature within Google Docs, and they can chat live with us while we're running the meeting and inserting the minutes. So I just borrowed some Google templates and put these in here. So we've got meeting minutes, so they can see what the last meeting was about, who was there, what the agenda was. But then if they wanted to see past meetings, then underneath, I'm going to put from the Google Drive, and oh dear, I've got a lot of folders to get from here to there, but bear with me in our conferences, and everything in this folder will be available to you shortly after the conference. And in here, I had a folder. Blended site files. There it is, right up at on top. So I'm going to insert that. And it has our meeting minutes. Now I would probably do the meeting minutes separately and our policies and procedures elsewhere, but that at least gives us an idea. Now at the top, you can see that our website is growing. We've got our home page, which is our data dashboard and announcements. We've got a page for syllabi. We've got a page for meeting minutes. And I don't know about you, but I like policies and procedures to be available and accessible to everyone. So I'm going back to pages. I'm going to add another page, and I'm going to call it policies. Okay. And because we have a limited amount of time, all I want to do is add the folder. Whoops, I am in the wrong place. I want to insert, whoops, now I just created an untitled page. Let's go back to policies and go back from the drive and search. We have a lot of files. And here we've got policies and procedures. So actually, I want to go back one and just insert that whole folder. Right? So just like looking for a file, everything's there. Right? So if you are a program director, some of the policies we are supposed to have in writing for our program include our assessment procedures, our data procedures, enrollment procedures. I don't see that, I didn't copy that, but our fiscal procedures. We should all have those policies in writing and available not only to our staff and faculty, but to HED when they come down for our site visits. I've also included our FERPA training in our policies because I want to make sure that people understand FERPA and they can go back to it at any time. And our NRS technical assistance guide. So that they know the federal policies that we're following as well. So this keeps things more transparent, easily accessible. You've got a teacher out there, oh, I don't know what's going on, or I don't remember what I'm supposed to do. They can come back to the website and find the appropriate policy. Now, since I accidentally made an untitled page, I can change it. And one of the other things that I really like to do is include links for professional development. So we want to include some links. Let's try this. We are actually going to embed the NMEA website in here. Oh, I need my HTTPs. Huh. Is it an S? No, it doesn't like that. Well, we're just going to insert that link. We'll try, let's try the DELT website. Well, that's very interesting. Well, great. So there you go. If you embed it, then you have to pop it out to actually get to the website. I apologize. I did not try that before now. I was just kind of playing. Of course, we can put images in here if we like. One of the other things that I do to track our professional development, because we have faculty who are doing webinars, and of course our staff, and doing other things to participate in professional development, not just all of our standard conferences, is that we have a professional development form. And so, like Jamie presented on Google Forms earlier this morning, forms can be used for many different things. So I'm just going to have this whole form in here, and they'll be able to either fill it out on the web page or they can use that pop-up button, put their information in. The wonderful thing that I love about this is because I'm the editor, I'm the owner, I can look at that spreadsheet later and I can just copy and paste all of that into my mid-year and my annual reports. Okay. I'm watching our time. So we've, this still says untitled page. Well, that's interesting. Title. Well, pages, untitled. So now we're going to go to properties. There we go. Now we can rename it. Great. So we have, at least information is on the website at this point. It might not be the prettiest thing in the world and we want to fix it later. That's okay. At least it's something to get us started. So I'm going to do a preview just to see what it looks like. So I'll start from the home. There's our data dashboard. So this is what people are going to see. The other thing I can do in this window here, this is how it looks on my computer screen, but what would it look like on my tablet? Well, that's not bad. What would it look like on my cell phone? Not too bad. I've got to scroll more to see all the charts, but at least the information is there. So also mobile friendly. We can look at our syllabi. We can look at our meeting minutes. So again, for our instructors who's only, sometimes they're on the phone looking at the meeting minutes and to know what's going on, or they have a quick question about policies, they can get here very quickly, whether they're using a computer or a mobile device. They can put their information in in the form. Again, it's got this pop out arrow, so anytime they see the arrow, they can pop it out. It goes to another window, and then they can fill it out. Okay, whoop. And it's doing that very slowly. And then what was our last? And that was it. Those were our pages so far. We can continue to build on this. It can be as big or as small as we like. If in the home page we wanted to, oops, I've got to get out of the preview. There we go. We're now out of the preview. One of the other things I wanted to show that you could insert, of course, you can insert YouTube videos right into your web page. You can insert a map. Of course, it's going to be a Google map, or you can insert a calendar. So in your announcements, maybe you want a calendar to go in there as well. And I have a whole bunch of calendars. So we're not going to do that because most of those belong to different classrooms. So different things that you can insert in your site, whatever you like. If you need any assistance with that, you're welcome to contact me or any member of the DELT team. The last thing, you may say, I've got this wonderful site, I built it. If you don't click publish, it's not going to help you at all. But first, we've got to talk about who we're going to share it with. So either you can let anybody see it, or you can keep it very limited. At this point, I'm going to publish it first. And if you're making it with a DELT account, your address is going to be, well, let's preview it again. Well, now I don't see the address. I'm lying to you. So our publish settings. So the website is https sites.google.com/nmdelt.org, and then whatever you've named it. So if you're using a G Suite account, whatever that domain is going to be here between the sites.google.com and the name of your website. And let me see. So our sharing. So we can make this public, or anyone who has the link, or I can share it with only specific people. I can share it with anyone who has an NMDelt account, or only with specific, I did say only with specific people. So it just depends on how you want to do that. I'll go ahead and share it publicly for now. And we are done. So if you wanted to come back and look at this, you could. You can copy it. And hopefully you've been able to do some things with your own site. Where are we at for time? Let me share briefly.
You've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, great. Thank you. Great. Are you seeing our UNM Valencia site now?
Yes.
Great. So this I wanted to just share with you briefly what we've done with our site. Our dashboard is here. We review this every week. Now, the great thing about the dashboard is once you've added these charts to your site, then the data person who's updating that other spreadsheet that is where the charts live. So the demo spreadsheet that Elizabeth shared, if we changed data on there, the data would change the charts and the charts would change on the website. You make the change once. You don't have to keep updating your website. If in your policies and procedures you update a document, you don't have to update it on the website. It shows up again here as updated. Or your forms. Anything that you update in Drive is automatically updated on your website. So I'm going to close this window now. And I believe, let me see, I didn't go back to my slideshow. That's the end of my presentation. I would be happy to take questions. Please contact me if I can be of any assistance. My email is tina@nmdelt.org. This also works in Google Hangouts. If you just enter that email address, you'll find me, and you can send me a quick chat, or we can do a video call. But if I don't answer, I could be out drumming. My phone number is 505-925-8920. I'm in the office mostly 9 to 5:30, but there are meetings and other things outside of the office. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. To request other support from the DELT team. So if you would like us to come out to your program, you have 2 or 3 instructors or more, would like to invite another program to come and visit your program and do a bigger training, we will customize whatever training you would like that has to do with distance education and learning technologies. All you have to do is submit the request at Connect with Us under the support tab, and the support form, at nmdelt.org. Or if you want just some one-on-one assistance from a particular team member, please feel free to contact anyone directly. And you can do that again at our website, nmdelt.org, connect with us, and meet the team. And you can locate all of our contact information there. Once again, our website is nmdelt.org. We're also on Facebook. You can reach us there. We have a blog that's updated weekly. We're also on Instagram and on Twitter. Thank you so much for attending and participating, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Tina. That was a great presentation. It doesn't look like we have any questions at this time. So before we end the presentation today, I would like to announce that we will be having an ESL Tech Talk Part 2 on March 22nd at noon. There will be an email going out about it if you're interested in that. Also, if you need access to any of the links that you have seen today on the slides, all of these slides will be available for you shortly after the presentation is over on our NMDELT website. Please stick around if you'd like. We will be having one more session this afternoon. We're having a roundtable discussion with the entire DELT team. So if you have any questions for the DELT team or comments, please come join us. That will start at 2:50, so in about 12 minutes. Thank you for attending, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Kristen.